actually seen some press online since some of I believe this is something that Sam Black had originally posted. Jeff is now playing it himself this weekend. Jeff was 2-2 in Standard yesterday with this list. So this is, for Jeff, really carrying on the back of Legacy to get to a 6-2 record.
For Jeff and his deck list, again, we had a deck tech with him. I imagine we will see that again as the round does end. But 3 Flamewake Phoenixes, 4 Thunderbreak regions, 2 Icefall regions, and then 3 copies of Stormbreath Dragon, and just a bunch of spells. Lightning Strikes, Anticipate, Slumgar Scorn, of course, the counter spell that can also play the role of Force Spike, but Jeff has enough dragons to actually make it pretty good here. It's kind of just a blue-red burn deck, really, kind of a counter burn style deck.
Well, the thing it reminds me of is actually a couple years ago, there was a pretty popular blue-red Frost Titan deck. It was, I believe, the theme of that deck was it was a 7 Titan deck. It played some counter spells, some early removal, and then played, I believe, 4 Frost Titans and 3 Inferno Titans, and that was kind of how the deck operated. To me, this feels very similar. You look at his early plays, okay, 4 Silumgar's Scorn, 4 Anticipates, 4 Lightning Strikes, 3 Wild Slashes. Okay, his early game is going to be about drawing cards and killing creatures. After that, we have, well, 3 Phoenix and 9 dragons in the deck. Not to mention, I mean, if I want to talk about Frost Titan, 2 Icefall regions, it's a very similar card.
Yeah. This is very tame for Jeff and his deck building.
It is fewer colors than I expected him to be playing.
He typically has a reliance on Sylvan Caryatid. This is very, very tame for what he typically likes to do, especially in standard formats. But he's off to a great start this weekend. He's 6-2. Only went 2-2 with this particular deck in standard, which means the Legacy went very, very well for him. Cook taking a look at his opening hand here with blue-black control after a mulligan. See if he can find something that he does like. You see he does have a copy of Pearl Ancient in hand. He's got a Swamp, and we are underway here in game number 3. Hoogland will play a Temple of Epiphany and do a little scry action.
What I like about the Blue-Red Dragons deck here is its ability to sideboard very well, because you are a base blue deck with control cards. My guess would be that, yeah, and as we actually see by play and draw here, is that Hoogland did not win game 1, was able to take the sideboarded game.
Yep.
Bryant's on the play here for game 3. And that's due to the fact that Jeff Hoogland game 1 has a lot of Wild Slashes, Lightning Strikes, but he can go to things like Disdainful Stroke, additional Haven of the Spirit Dragon, and Dragon Lord's Prerogative in the sideboard.
Yep. And given how many dragons he does have in his deck, that opportunity that will be uncounterable is actually pretty powerful. Jeff going to search up an island with his Flooded Strand. Cook going to take the opportunity to cast an Anticipate. Does not want that to get countered, as he is on a mulligan. Anticipate, a card that has been great so far for everyone. It's not an overwhelmingly powerful card like a Treasure Cruiser, Dig Through Time, just a really good role player to smooth things out. Jeff going to play one as well. Not much of a surprise to see both of these decks playing multiple copies of this card.
Yeah, I mean, Anticipates, we've seen it looks to be a staple in most blue strategies, not just the control strategies here.
There's a Mountain for Jeff. Here's a Flamewake Phoenix. So he's going to get the beatdown started pretty early. Cook will take a draw. He has a Temple. And that top card will be going somewhere here in just a moment.
And what you have to like about the creatures in the Blue-Red Dragons deck is that all of them have immediate value. Flamewake Phoenix and Stormbreath Dragon have haste. Icefall Regent taps down a creature. And Thunderbreak Regent you can't get off the board really without taking 3. So what he's doing is, even if he's trading creatures for Bryant's kill spells, Jeff ends up ahead on life every time this happens.
You saw a Temple of Epiphany there from Jeff. Here is a polluted delta for Bryant. I bet those are the storm polluted deltas. Just a guess.
They sure are the signed foil.
Just a guess that those are playing double duty this weekend. Here comes the Phoenix. Jeff with another Temple.
Yeah, Bryant actually holding up removal here, not wanting to get, I think, worried about something like Stormbreath Dragon. And it's a good pinch that Jeff has put his deck in. Brian has a copy of Ashiok Nightmare Weaver. He'd really like to get that resolved, but at 14, he really can't afford to take a hit off Stormbreath Dragon or even let a Thunderbreak Regent resolve.
Bloodstained Mire.
Perhaps another signed foil here. I play that one in Storm also.
Yeah, I imagine that's a Storm one. Cook going to go reaching for some mana. Now he's going to probably try to deploy that Ashiok.
Yeah, well, he has enough mana to play, maybe if he has a Disdainful Stroke, to do something like that.
Jeff is going to play Salumgar's Scorn and will reveal Thunderbreak Regent. That'll cause it to be actual counterspell in this situation. That's going to work just fine.
It turns out Bryant's fears here were of not wanting to, well, wanting to leave up a counterspell were pretty justified. Thunderbreak Regent is going to be trouble for him if it's on the board.
What's interesting is, is Jeff willing to actually deploy another threat? Because really, this Flamewake Phoenix is going to work. I was a little skeptical when I saw this in the deck list. I was like, this seems kind of out of place. But if you look at Jeff's deck list, bringing it back with the Ferocious trigger, not hard. I mean, the rest of his cards are dragons, so you're going to be able to satisfy that cost. And if it's able to play in a game like this, where it's like, okay, I'll deal you close to what might be 10 points of damage now, and getting it back is not very difficult. And this isn't a card that Bryant really wants to kill either.
Right, well, it fits into a strategy in that it has haste, so he gets immediate value off it. It's good at trading with kill spells, and it's pressure to play a control mirror. So right now, that's what's going on. Both players are blue decks. No one really wants to make a move, but Flamewake Phoenix is going to force Bryant into doing something, and then Jeff can really capitalize once Bryant taps.
Bryant going to sacrifice his Bloodstained Mire. Going to get a Swamp, as there's no Watery Grave or Underground Sea in this format. There's an island. So Cook's down to 8. We'll see what he wants to do here on the end of Jeff's turn. Jeff with 6 mana at the ready. And he's got a lot of cards in his hand. He hasn't really had much reason to play very many spells. So we'll see what he's up to here in just a little bit.
And this tempo-based blue strategy is just so strong against a pure control deck. Basically for the reason that we're seeing here. Jeff already has Bryant down to 8 and has hardly played a card this game. He's played, 2 real cards, the Flamewake Phoenix and a Silumgar's Scorn.
Yeah, the Anticipate was just going to smooth things out. Looks like Bryant does have a Hero's Downfall that he's going to now finally cast to take care of the Phoenix. Or at least attempt to. We'll see if Jeff wants to try to protect it.
Well, based on how Bryant played the Ashiok, you might think that Bryant has something like Disdainful Stroke in his hand, if you're on Jeff's side.
There's Dragonlord's Prerogative, revealing Thunderbreak Regent.
Yeah, and Dragonlord's Prerogative, just a really good backbreaker here against the control decks. Another card that powers up if you reveal a dragon. And because this is just opportunity, but it is uncounterable because Jeff showed dragon.
This one we previewed at Grand Prix Miami. Wasn't sure how much constructed play it may see. Looks pretty good in this situation.
Yeah, and I'm surprised. So Opportunity saw very little play, but a lot of that had to do with the fact that there was another card floating around, Sphinx's Revelation, for the entirety of Opportunity's existence in Standard.
Perhaps you've heard of it.
Perhaps you've heard of it. It was actually this very good instant speed card draw that you could play. I understand that for 6 mana you drew 1 fewer, but...
You did. One could argue it's a bad deal.
Sometimes I would play it as a 5th Sphinx's Revelation. But the first time when it was around in Urza's Legacy, Opportunity has seen play.
Mm-hmm.
And one that can power up in a Dragon's deck, that's just icing on the cake here for Jeff.
That was really good. Fantastic turn for Jeff. 6 mana open, draw 4 cards. There's a land, Haven of the Spirit Dragon. Now Jeff has all these options, and Bryant is pretty overwhelmed. Jeff's going to start with a Thunderbreak Regent.
He may assume that there's 1 counter spell in Bryant's hand.
Now Jeff has he has a Silumgar's Scorn, the Force Bite variety. And now he gets a trigger Ferocious. This is an awesome turn. And now he's going to get to come in for 2. Cook going to go down to 6. Cook wants to make sure, okay, well, how does this work? Bryant, it's bad news. It's bad news.
Yeah, at the beginning of combat, if Jeff has a 4-power creature, he can pay a red and bring the Phoenix back into play.
Everyone checking to make sure, see how that works. And Jeff conveniently with 7 cards left in hand.
It's just the power of how these strategies match up.
Well, when a control deck gets to do all of that stuff in 1 turn, which is play a dragon, counter your counter spell, and get back a Flamewake Phoenix, and still be left with 7 cards in hand, I'm not sure how the opposing control deck is supposed to come back from something like that. Also, you can't really kill Thunderbreak Regent really well. You have to take 3 points of damage to get off the table. So now, as long as Jeff remembered the trigger, which looked like he did, Cook goes down to 3.
So on the 3, possibly 1 off the Phoenix. There's a land already in play if Jeff wants to just go for the Thunderbreak Regent again. Not to mention he still has with a full grip of cards, it would be hard to see how he couldn't have 1 more point of damage.
Well, Creator's Clause for 1 might get the job done. That's what Jeff is going to cast. There's Negate. Does Jeff have a counter spell to fight back? Looks like he'll play an Anticipate, try to look for one. Take a look at the top three, see if he can get this game over with. There's a lightning strike. That'll work just fine. That'll do it. Jeff Hoogland's going to win this match over Bryant Cook 2-1. Blue-Red Dragons will take care of Blue-Black Control. Yes, Blue-Red Dragons. And we'll have Jeff's deck tech for you guys in just a moment here. We'll close the round out with that, but a pretty impressive win there for Jeff.
Yeah, post board, this has got to be just such a difficult matchup for Brian. Jeff gets access to cards like